I'm 81 years old now, and most mornings I wake up with the same thought. I did what I was supposed to do, and somehow I still lost myself. That realization sits heavier than any illness I've had, heavier than the years themselves. I'm not telling this because I need absolution. I'm telling it because time has thinned out, and the truth doesn't feel as dangerous as it once did. When you're young, the truth feels like it might undo everything. At my age, there's not much left to undo. I sit at the kitchen table most days, same one we bought in 1978. One leg still wobbles. I keep meaning to fix it, but I never do. I drink my coffee slowly now. There's no one rushing me anymore. That's part of the problem. Silence becomes loud when you finally have time to hear it. For 45 years, I lived inside responsibility. I wore it like a coat that never came off. At first, it kept me warm. Later, I couldn't breathe in it. When I was in my early 20s, responsibility felt noble. It felt adult. My father worked himself to the bone and called it pride. My mother thanked him for it, even when he came home tired and quiet. I learned early that love looked like showing up exhausted and not complaining. I got married at 24. We were young, scared, and trying very hard to look confident. I loved her. I still do, in a way that's hard to explain now. But love back then felt like a contract. I promised to provide, she promised to manage. We didn't say those words out loud. We didn't have to. Everyone around us understood the arrangement. The first job I took wasn't my dream. I don't think I ever said the word dream out loud. It paid steady, had benefits, and didn't ask questions. That felt like enough. I told myself I'd move on later. Later became a familiar word, comfortable, vague. Our days fell into routines quickly. Alarm at 5:30, coffee, drive, work, drive back, dinner, news on the TV, sleep. Weekends were for errands and repairs. We talked about vacations more than we took them. When our first child was born, something in me tightened. I remember holding that small, warm body and thinking, this is it now. Not in a bad way, just final. From that moment on, every decision ran through a filter. Is this safe? Is this stable? Is this responsible? I turned down a job offer when I was 31. It paid less, but would have moved us closer to the ocean. I'd always liked the water. The idea of being near it made me feel calmer, even back then. I remember standing in the garage, holding the letter and folding it carefully before putting it in a drawer. I didn't tell anyone about it. I told myself it didn't matter. That became a pattern. Little things folded away, hobbies postponed, conversations delayed, feelings put on a shelf because there was dinner to make and bills to pay. I was always tired, not the kind of tired sleep fixes, the kind that settles in your bones. But I didn't complain. People thanked me for my reliability. At work, I was the one they trusted. At home, I was the one who handled things. I wore that reputation proudly. I didn't notice what it was costing me. My children grew up with a father who was present but distant. I was there. I attended games. I helped with homework. But I was often thinking about the next day, the next problem, the next obligation. I thought being there physically was enough. I didn't understand how much presence matters. There were nights my wife wanted to talk. I could see it in the way she lingered after the dishes were done. I'd say, "Can it wait?" Sometimes it did. Sometimes it didn't. We got good at not asking each other questions that might open something we didn't have time to deal with. The years passed quietly. That's what surprises me most now. I thought regret would announce itself. I thought it would be loud. Instead, it crept in softly, disguised as responsibility, disguised as being a good man. I missed my mother's last lucid conversation because I stayed late at work. I told myself she wouldn't remember anyway. I was wrong. She asked for me. I arrived after she'd already drifted somewhere I couldn't reach. I skipped a friend's wedding because the timing was inconvenient. We lost touch not long after. I assumed we'd reconnect someday. We didn't. I kept waiting for a time when things would slow down enough for me to breathe. I didn't realize that time doesn't slow. It just moves on without you. The turning point didn't come with fireworks. It came with a phone call. My wife collapsed one morning while folding laundry, just like that. No warning. By the time I reached the hospital, she was already gone. People told me I'd been a good husband. They said she was lucky. I nodded and thanked them. Inside, I was replaying every conversation I postponed. Every evening, I chose exhaustion over connection. Grief is strange at this age. It doesn't feel dramatic. It feels empty. The house felt wrong without her sounds, the creak of the stairs, the way she hummed without realizing it. I'd spent decades being needed. Suddenly, no one needed me in the same way. That's when the clarity arrived, not at once, in pieces, sitting alone at that kitchen table, realizing I didn't know what I liked anymore. I didn't know what I wanted my days to look like. Responsibility had been my identity for so long that without it, I felt like a ghost. I tried to fill the time, volunteered, fixed things around the house, took walks, but there was an ache underneath it all, a sense that I'd been a background character in my own life. My children are grown now. They call when they can. They have their own responsibilities. I hear myself telling them to take care of themselves, to rest, to enjoy their lives. Sometimes I wonder if they hear the apology hidden in my voice. There are things that can't be fixed. I can't go back and take that job by the ocean. I can't sit with my wife on the couch and ask her what she was thinking all those nights I said later. I can't show my younger self that responsibility doesn't mean disappearance. Time doesn't bargain. It doesn't accept explanations. It just moves forward, taking what it takes. If you're listening to this, I don't know where you are in your life. I don't know what weight you're carrying. I only know what it felt like to assume there would always be more time, more evenings, more chances. That assumption is a quiet thief. I'm not saying abandon your duties. I'm saying don't let them consume you so completely that there's nothing left. Responsibility should support a life, not replace it. I wish I'd known that being needed isn't the same as being known, that providing isn't the same as connecting, that success doesn't fill the spaces silence creates. I don't have many years left. I feel that in my body now, in the way my hands shake slightly when I hold my cup, in the way stairs take more effort. I've made peace with it, mostly. Acceptance comes easier when there's no alternative. Some evenings I sit outside and watch the light change. I let myself feel grateful for what I had, even as I mourn what I missed. Both can exist at the same time. That's something no one told me. If this meant something to you, if it stirred something uncomfortable or familiar, I hope you sit with it for a moment, not to fix it, just to notice it. I'm done trying to outrun the truth. There's not much reason to anymore. I'll finish my coffee now. The table still wobbles. Some things never get fixed, and that's just how it is.